coming for to sing his song. I can hear the drummer drumming. He's coming, and I won't be long. Hear the cry across the nations. People wanna be free, yeah. Free to leave the great plantations. Free to be who they want to be. I see it sweet sound of freedom, and I won't be long.
Well, thank you, StreamYard. Do exactly the same thing that you did the day before, but this time it works. I sent him an email. I got the lighting. Sorry about that. You know, maybe it's an improvement because otherwise you got to look at this face. Anyway. Hey, it's hi everybody. It's Everett with Ohio for Freedom, and you've tuned into the Ohio for Freedom podcast on the year of our Lord 2021, and the month is July, and the day is the 9th. And today we're going to ask the question, who shot Ashli? Do we know the name? Has a little bird told us? We might know the name, actually. We actually might know the name. I'm going to share a name that might, fact checkers, be careful and be accurate, might be it. And we're going to look at that some more. Also going to look at some creepy stuff. We're going to look at a couple of creepy comments from HHS, and we're going to look at some creepy things from a couple of other countries. And then we're going to look at the creepy porn lawyer. And then we're going to talk about creepy science. And then I'm going to conclude the program today by showing you a very creepy government website. Sorry, Canada. It's your government, and it is creepy. Maybe the US has a website that is just as creepy, but at any rate, I'm going to show it to you. So we're just buckle up and let's get started.
I hear the sweet sound of freedom, and I won't be long.
Well, by golly, maybe I'll have to give StreamYard a pass, and maybe I'll drop my class action lawsuit. No, just kidding. Okay, we're going to get into the subject matter today, but I know that this is everyone's main concern today, so I want to address it right away. I know that you've been staying awake at night saying, I wonder what's happening with his tomatoes. So I've been talking about my tomatoes because I've been using them as a metaphor for what God is doing right now. And about 4 weeks ago, I showed the first tiny one that was emerging. And then, you know, they were popping out, pop. And it's a metaphor for good news. I want to show y'all some good news. Maybe this is a little bit of self-indulgent, but we picked about 8 of those guys a couple of days ago. And we like BLTs and everything, but I think my wife had the absolute best idea with that first batch of tomatoes. And so I am going to show you what we did. I've told you guys before that, well, good morning there, Kate. How you doing? I have told y'all before that she's a gourmet cook. I mean, I never know what content we're going to. So here's what we did. And I know you want to know this. This is the app. Okay. She made the absolute best tomato soup that you have ever had. Now, if you're thinking tomato soup in a can from Campbell's, no. This is all homegrown. This is all fresh. And so this is what you do. You roast all of it. I know you want to know this stuff. That's why I'm telling you. I know you've been wondering about this. And so this goes in the oven. All right. That's another picture. And the prep on this, it takes a while. But if you want to cook, folks, now don't kid yourself. Cooking takes prep. It takes good knives. It takes know-how, and it takes some time. We're not the hamburger helper people here, okay? And then this is the sauce. Now, I don't care what it is, and this is what she is just a genius at. Remember this, it's all about the sauce. It's all about the sauce. So this is the broth, the sauce. It is a soup. And then you see another picture of it here. And then you have to blend all that. And then garlic bread, you don't make garlic bread in a toaster. She's got a special way that she does. And I'm telling you, this is the best stuff. This is not the dish that you make if you're trying to take the best presentation, because this is what it looks like. But I'm telling you, oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to get out of that now. All right, yesterday, thank you. It is, Wendy, it is yummy. And I'm telling you, and also what you can do with that. I know you want to know this stuff. Now, we just had the garlic bread with it, but you can make like little with that same garlic bread, like make a little, cheese sandwich or a little cheese with, she's really into this prosciutto lately, a little bit of prosciutto or bacon or something. And then you take a little sandwich like that and you dip. Oh my God. You wouldn't believe it. Now, the night before, she was on Chilean sea bass, and there's a certain way. Anyway, let's get off that subject, but I'm telling you, it's amazing. And what God is doing is amazing. So I got, I got a, received in my email from Headline USA yesterday, a story that was saying that they might know the name of who shot Ashli Babbitt. And in the story, it talked about that there was a name of a certain officer that had been floated kind of in Rumorville social media there for a while. Hey, Maria. Hi, Mark. Hi, Wendy. And yes, I'm doing shout outs, Dennis and Wendy. Exactly. Grilled cheese. Yeah. But Wendy, I'm telling you, you have not tasted this soup. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. So in that article, it talked about that there was a name that had been circulated a while back, but the head of Capitol Police had vehemently denied and said, no, this person was not the shooter. And then this other name surfaced. And the problem is the head of Capitol Police. Good morning, Cease from France. Glad to hear from you. Hi, Teresa. Yeah, I'm telling you. All right, I'm going to quit talking about the tomatoes, but I'm telling you guys, it's amazing. She's just amazing. Okay, so anyway, then there's another name that surfaced. And when they floated that by the head of Capitol Police, they just won't deny it. So they didn't say yes, but they won't deny it. So here's the thing. I'm going to play you a clip. I think it's about 60 seconds, but this is a congresswoman from the state of Washington, and she is interviewing the acting deputy sergeant of arms or whatever. I'll let the clip speak for itself, but I do want you to, and I'm disobeying my critic. I'm talking about the clip before I play it. I want you to listen. He's talking about two groups of people, and he's talking about how one group of people doesn't hear the headsets of another group of people. And then he says a name. He says the name Officer Byrd. And fact checkers, fact off. I'm not saying that Officer Byrd is this or that. I'm just saying I'm playing a clip where a guy mentions the name of an Officer Byrd, but then he immediately refers to, I think he says, a sergeant of arms employee or something that gave aid to Ashli Babbitt when she was, had fallen and was shot. And so it's a distinction between two people. Anyway, play the clip and listen for this name, and you kind of decide what you think.
Representative Mark Wayne, who was on the floor helping barricade the door with those officers who had their firearms drawn. And he said he could hear the shouting and the chaos in the earpieces of the officers who were trying to do the defense. So they were on their own. Are you fixing that? And please be brief because I have a couple more questions.
Apologize. I was on mute. I have to remember to unmute. Yes, that's something we need to fix, and we need to fix it immediately. I believe the chief acknowledged in her statement, and I don't want to speak for the acting chief, but that communication needs to be enhanced. It drives either out of the command center or the incident command post, wherever that is set up. In terms of that, in terms of the communication with my staff,
okay.
In Sergeant Arms, we don't control the Capitol Police radios. While we have the radios and can hear what is or is not going on, we do not interject during a crisis. We communicate with our staff either via the cell phone, text message, and we were in close contact. The situation where you discussed where Officer Byrd was at the door when Miss Babbitt was shot, it was our Sergeant Arms employee who rendered the aid to her at that site.
Can I jump in there? So
Okay, he talked about Officer Byrd and he talked about Sergeant of Arms and Tina. I'm not quicker than this audience. In fact, so much stuff that I talk about comes from this audience, and I appreciate that. And then Kate is saying, did you hear that Capitol Police are going to set up in each state? I had not heard that. But you know, here's something that I've heard bantered about recently, and I first heard Candace Owens say it on Tucker Carlson's show. But this whole defund the police thing, we talked yesterday about a global plan, and it's a Marxist plan, Marxist global plan. But the whole idea of, you know, de-emphasize or get rid of or just, you know, neuter local police because we need federal police, because that's the next step in fascism. That's the next step in totalitarianism. Now, this next clip, I have played this on this program before. I'm going to play it again. I put this together 5-6 months ago, whenever it was. Well, 6 months ago now. And it's going to go very, very slowly through, and it takes about 2.5 minutes. It's going to go very, very slowly from the side of the door that Ashli Babbitt was on, and so I'm going to go through that, but I am going to stop at one point, and I'm going to try to point out to you, there's a guy at the end of the hall, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see it because I can't blow it up live like this, but he's standing there. He's about, I'd say, 100 feet on the other side of the door, looking right at like where Ashli Babbitt would be crawling in, and he's in a hoodie and a mask. But without further ado, I'm going to play this, and I may interrupt it.
From this clip, you've got 3 officers that are guarding the door, and they look like something the dog drug in. This guy's jacket is all dusty. What's that all about? This guy's wearing a mask. This guy's not wearing a mask, but he's wearing a hat with glasses. So they look like disheveled rent-a-cops. But supposedly there's 3 of them guarding that door. Supposedly, I'm going to move this ahead. Now, who is this guy over here? Is this John Sullivan from Utah? Because he's just standing there biding his time. Nobody cares about him. And then who is this plainclothes guy? Because he's going to do something curious here in just a bit. So they're guarding the door, guarding the door, guarding the door. They could easily have this crowd out under control. They don't want to have.
Is the plainclothes guy the sergeant of arms gentleman that the previous guy was referring to? Just, I'm asking that question.
Why don't they? Then all of a sudden, right about here, I keep moving this forward, the 3 guys guarding the door move away from the door and stop guarding it, and then right on cue, if this is John Sullivan or whoever he is, steps up, and his compadres start beating the crap out of the door. And these guys are up here, the 3 cops are still right on the scene. It doesn't bother.
Now, I'm just going to ask a question here. When those guys start knocking the crap out of that door, when you're going to see this guy that shot Ashli Babbitt in a minute, is he just so scared that he's hiding and he's not looking? Or would you look at the door and see what's going on? Of course you would look at the door and see what's going on. But if you did, would you not be able, I don't know if you can see my mouse, would you not be able to look through the glass, even though you're looking at an angle, and see those cops that are lined up against the wall? Of course you could. I better shut up or this will take too long. And then sometimes it doesn't want to start right away.
That these guys are destroying your property and my property, the Capitol building. So
I agree, Kate.
Now you see the guy with the gun. He's got gloves on. Why is that? I don't know. Is he trying to keep gun residue off his hands? Who knows? But if I can inch this forward without it locking up on me, which it has been doing, I want to try to show you right at the moment that when the bullet comes out, right when it's firing, you'll see a flash. Okay, so at the point of the flash, when he's firing, notice the trajectory. Now that trajectory.
I'm going to pause right there. And guys, I'm moving my mouse, and I honestly don't know if you can see it or not. But look past that shooter and look just directly under his arm, and you see somebody's feet. Somebody is very visible there. And I don't know if this will back up for me or not because I'm doing this real time. But watch at the end of that hall. You'll see a guy. Well, there he is.
This forward without it locking on me, which it has been doing.
Okay, I was mistaken. That's not a person. That's a
right at the moment.
But at the end of that hall,
that
and you might just have to go back
the-
and review this on your own, but
when
there's
the
a guy that
bullet
is standing
comes
there
out,
watching all
right
of
when it's
that,
firing, you'll
and
see
he's
a
got a
flash.
hoodie,
Okay.
and he's got
So
a mask
at the
on.
point of the flash, when
And I'm just
he's
going to let it play.
firing, notice the trajectory.
I'm just going
Now
to let
that
it play.
trajectory seems to be about right. He is aiming up.
Yeah.
That might be about all we can learn from this. I'm going to come back. Well, I want to point this out.
Okay, I'm going to get out of that. All I'm going to say is this. One thing, and I'll say this. I've had people, look, crisis actor, possibly. I mean, I said that one 6 months ago. I said, well, if she got shot in the neck, why don't you see any, like, I'm sorry, blood all over the wall? I never did. And honestly, folks, this is where, because I've had a couple of people send me clips that absolutely, definitely prove this and absolutely, definitely prove that. I don't know. There is one thing I am absolutely positively sure about, is that they're lying to us and they're not telling the truth. And I think from this clip, whether when he let that slip, this officer Byrd, whether that's actually the shooter or not, I think one thing that we could be very much assured of is they're in Washington. People know the name of this guy. They know. There's no question. And this is the gentleman that they're suggesting may be this Lieutenant Michael Leroy Byrd. And now the article that I read did say that he is on administrative leave with pay. So does that prove anything? No. Is it possible? Yeah, but it's just absolutely egregious that we're this far along and we don't know. So watch for that. See how this plays out. But we should definitely know. And I'm going to read this. A neck shot would have blood splatter all over, uncontrollable. Craig, I agree with you. I agree with you. And Kate's got a clip. Listen, folks, if you're ever on this program and Kate comments and she puts a clip or a link in there, chase it down, because she's a great researcher. And Craig, I am tired of all the lies from Washington too. And speaking of lies from Washington, we're going to take a listen to Pudgy Breonna Taylor from CNN, and then we'll talk about it.
You can answer.
We're changing gears.
It's none of the government's business knowing who has or hasn't been vaccinated. What do you say?
Brianna, perhaps we should point out that the federal government has had to spend trillions of dollars to try to keep Americans alive during this pandemic. So it is absolutely the government's business. It is taxpayers' business if we have to continue to spend money to try to keep people from contracting COVID and helping reopen the economy. And so it is our business to try to make sure Americans can prosper, Americans can freely associate. And knocking on a door has never been against the law. You don't have to answer, but we hope you do, because if you haven't been vaccinated, we can help dispel some of those rumors that you've heard and hopefully get you vaccinated.
I'm going to stop right there, and I want to read. I'm backing up a little bit here, but we got really good comments. And Stacy just commented, whistleblower came out on Stu Peters' show. He's got a good show, y'all. And he said he has evidence of Pelosi and her new sergeant of arms plotting the whole thing. I hope that comes out. Folks, listen, I will just tell you this. I wasn't there. I wanted to be there. I wasn't able to be there. But I spent right in this chair here watching those events. And then when it started to go south, and I remember I was running from the computer, watching my phone, there's a television in the other room, and it was just obvious. Now, the Bible says that we see through a glass darkly. We don't see everything. But I know in my spirit, you said, Ever, what's your spirit? The spirit is the part of you that's born again, if you're born again. And you don't see everything that you wish you could see in the spirit realm. But I mean, it was just obvious that this was a work. This was a Luciferian act, man. This was a shakedown. Everything about this January 6th. It's a lie. It's a wedge. It's a weapon, and that's why I'm not going to say this happened, that happened. Crisis actor. Here's the thing. I really wondered if she actually died. I don't know. But please don't. If you send me something, I'll always take a look at it. But I don't know what happened. The only thing that I know is I know that they're lying to us. I know that they're lying to us. But getting back to Pudgy Breonna Taylor here, You say, why do you call her Pudgy Breonna Taylor? It's because she's
wonder if you
pudgy. And no, I don't like her. If you remember back in the summer, President Trump brought onto the team, the COVID team, Scott Atlas. And that's the first person with any medical credentials that talked any sense. And he talked about how kids shouldn't be locked up and they were at like virtually zero risk, which is true. And this Pudgy Breonna Taylor, I almost pulled the clip, but no, you don't want to make the program too long. And she said, Dr. Scott Atlas obviously wouldn't know science if it bit him in the atlas. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Pudgy Breonna Taylor. Besides, if you need some help with your weight loss, give us a call because I got a couple of tips for you. But, and no offense to anybody that's struggling with, anyway, let me get off of that. But she and all of these people, they are not news people. They are not news people. They're salesmen. They're actors and actresses playing a part. And we're going to show you a good example of that in a minute. But this is creepy. This head of Health and Human Services is saying because the government has spent a lot of money, Constitution means nothing. Your personal rights mean nothing. Your right to privacy means nothing because they spent a lot of money on this COVID lie, this COVID plan, DMAC, and they have a right to know what's going on with you. And that piece that goes on and on, she dug in and absolutely. And folks, let me change. I'm not changing gears here, but I want to address a message that was sent to me from Pierre in Canada. And here's what his question said. And Pierre, if you're listening, I'll try to message you, but I'm saying it right now. He said, I've heard that Justin wants to make mandatory the inoculation. What do you think? And here's what I can tell you. Folks, it will be made, make no mistake, it will be mandatory everywhere in the world. Don't even wonder about that. It will be mandatory everywhere in the world unless people stand up. There is no leader serving now, including our foe in chief, our pretender in chief, our temporary help in chief. No, the agenda is everybody forcefully period. There isn't any leader that's going to buck. The only way that's not going to happen anywhere is if people stand up, period. So I'm sorry. When Mordecai was talking to Esther, he sent a message to her, and I'm going to boil that down into redneck, but he basically said, don't think because of your position with the king that you will escape. And he also said, if you neglect your duties, God from somewhere else will bring deliverance, but maybe God's brought you into the kingdom for such a time of this. But he was saying to her, folks, you don't have a choice. You got to stand up. You got to stand up. It will be mandated everywhere unless people stand up. I think I've made that point. Now, I didn't want to announce this early in the program, but this is probably my very last podcast ever. And this clip here is going to be the reason why. Let me just play it and I'll explain.
I think early next year we'll be in the phase of chasing up people who haven't come forward to get their vaccination or have missed their bookings and so on. So everyone will be able to get a vaccine between now and the end of the year. But of course, and I want every New Zealander to come forward, but human behaviour suggests that there will be some people that we have to actually really go out and look for, and some of that may spill into next year. But our commitment is everyone will have the opportunity to get the vaccine by the end of the year. Everyone will, but I can't say that, that we're not going to have some hesitant people or some people who just haven't come forward that we don't have to go out and find next year.
Chris, I put this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Folks, I gotta toss in the towel. I'm done. I'm toast. I can't do this anymore. This is my last podcast because yesterday, I'm so sorry. I know that guy was from Australia and I made a mistake. I tell you what, let me do this real quick. I'm just going to get on the floor and prostrate myself. Okay. I'm so sorry. All right, I guess what? I guess I'm not going to quit after all. All right, so he's from New Zealand, not Australia. I'll tune into your podcast. Maybe you can do better. But the point is, we were talking about globalism yesterday and what that creepy dude in New Zealand wants to do. There's creepy dudes in Australia that want to do the same thing. And we got a creepy pretender in chief that wants to do the same thing. And I can pull a story right now where Jen Circleback Psaki is saying the president, he's not the president, but the president supports here in the U.S., states and local governments that want to do another lockdown. So already seeding the market, already trying to set the stage for variant. Somebody sent me a link yesterday, I guess, in BC or Alberta, more of the western part of Canada. Oh, they've discovered a Lambda variant. Well, guess what? If Lambda variant don't do it and Delta variant don't do it, they'll come up with a variant, because it's all about fear porn, and forced vaccinate. It's all about force, and it will happen everywhere unless people realize I ain't got a choice. I got to get in the fight and I got to stand up. That's the way it's going to be, folks. So apologize if I put the New Zealand guy in another country, but that ain't the point. So no, and I want to say this too. I don't take this stuff personally, because one thing I did learn from Brian Rose is people, and listen, this is something I want y'all to remember, because a lot of you guys, you've taken flack from people that want to discredit you, people that want to call you crazy, keep people and whatnot. Just remember this, and this is a gold statement. People hate up. They hate up. They don't hate down. They hate on people that are doing something that they're not doing, or doing something better than they're doing, or doing something that they should be doing. They never drive by and say, look at that homeless guy. He's not stinky enough. He took a shower last month. He's not even being a good. No. People hate up. So the next time you encounter one of I love my haters. I really do. I get an energy from them. Next time you encounter one of your haters, just remember they're hating up. So, okay, let's keep the program rolling. Now, what does that clip with Pudgy Breonna Taylor and the HHS guy and the Australian New Zealand that wants to go after everybody and chase them down, what do those two things have to do with each other? Well, it has to do with a global agenda. And I just want to take us down a little trip on memory lane here. And I'm just going to play this clip because it's, Tuskegee experiment, for example. The people today will talk about, oh, that was a sad chapter in our past. And they talk about it as though mankind could never be evil anymore because something happened, I guess. So, well, why is there still rape? Why is there still murder? Why is there still theft? Why is there still pedophilia? No, I got news for you, Doc. The heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? And that hasn't changed. And medical science can be pretty creepy sometimes. And I'm just going to show you a couple of creepy examples. And here we go.
In 1933, one of his first acts was to pass national eugenics laws, modeled after laws in the United States.
You recognize that voice? This is good, y'all.
The 1934 film Tomorrow's Children brought the eugenics agenda to the silver screen in the United States.
In the case of Miss Mason, I can see no reason for the operation that's been recommended. The girl is perfectly normal. She's hardworking and has a good reputation.
Do you know anything about her family background?
Oh, yes, Your Honor, I do.
There are several other children, aren't there?
Yes.
What is their condition?
One is a cripple. Two others might be classed as feeble-minded.
Isn't the oldest son in jail?
Oh, yes, I believe so.
And knowing all that, you still contend that this girl should be allowed to bring more people like that into the world?
She's sound, Your Honor. She's not anything like the rest. Surely she should be given a chance to work out her own salvation.
I can't agree with you.
Yes, Elaine,
Suppose
it is.
She is normal. The chances are that her children will inherit the family taint. Isn't that possible?
But, Your Honor,
I'm sorry, Doctor. 3 generations of unfit are enough. Petition not allowed.
Yes. Yes, that was produced by Alex Jones, and it was very, very well done. I never heard Alex do like exactly, but listen, if guys, I want to show you something I stumbled across last night. I mean, this isn't just Hollywood fantasy. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to go back to this screen. Okay, you can see that. Okay, now looky here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Don't you dare do this to me. All right, I've got an uncooperative screen here, so I'm going to get out of that. And while I'm searching, because I'm going to show you, I refuse to be defeated by this little glitch here. I refuse to be defeated. I'm going to show you right now from the state of Indiana. I'm going to show you. Now I'm going to share that. Hang on. And I know some of y'all had to leave. Of course you have to leave. I mean, we just do the program and we do it. But thank you for tuning in and spending some time with us. All right. This is from, this is a plaque. It's a sign, it's a marker, it's a memorial in the state of Indiana. And I'll see if I can blow that up a little bit. I kind of need to. In 1907, Indiana eugenics law. Now, Indiana is just basic Corn Belt Midwest. By the late 1880s, Indiana authorities believed criminality, mental problems, and pauperism. Has anybody experienced pauperism in the last year due to all this lockdown stuff? Where various laws were enacted based on this belief. In 1907, Governor J. Frank Hanley approved the first state eugenics law, making sterilization mandatory for certain individuals in state custody. Sterilizations halted 1909. Folks, people are capable of this. We were talking about residential schools in Canada, and many of those stories are of forced sterilization. So there's other Indiana signs I could show you. But folks, no. People are just as creepy. And there's still a lot of money and a lot of control and a lot of recognition and a lot of fame on the line for a lot of people. And so I just in a general sense, I want to say, I don't automatically trust anybody that's connected with the medical field. I'm not going to retell the story of my ankle again in full, but I tell you what, I had to stare down a highly paid surgeon, over 20 years ago that wanted to permanently make my ankle inoperable. And I'm so glad that I didn't do that, because I'm going to do some walking today, some walking I would not be able to do if I'd said yes to that guy in the white coat. So no, I'm not always impressed when you have a white coat on. And now, talking about creepy, I'm trying to bring this in for a landing eventually, y'all. But now when we get to this website, if you can, stick around for that. But this flashed on my phone yesterday. I saw that Michael Avenatti was sentenced to 2 years in prison. And I asked my wife, do you think he'll get out in time to run for the 2024 presidential election? Anyway, I'm going to play this clip. Let it speak for itself.
We called him the creepy porn lawyer because he was. But over at CNN, they called him something different. They called him a future president.
Value most. If they decide they value a fighter most,
Yes.
people would be foolish to underestimate Michael Avenatti.
Existential threat to the Trump presidency. Please welcome attorney Michael Avenatti.
No one has talked tougher directly to Donald Trump on TV than Michael Avenatti, and Donald Trump is afraid to mention his name.
Michael Avenatti is a beast.
Okay, that's true.
And
he's a beast.
He's a beast, and he keeps popping Donald Trump and all of his folks in the mouth repeatedly. He's a beast. And so John Meacham says he may be the savior of the republic.
I owe Michael Avenatti an apology.
Greg, you're right.
For the last couple of weeks, I've been saying, enough already, Michael. I've seen you everywhere. What do you have left to say? I was wrong, brother.
All right. I thought about that clip, and then I'm just going to tease a little bit of this again, because, maybe I need to rethink my harsh thoughts about this here.
One of his first acts.
Maybe I need to rethink.
National eugenics laws, modeled after laws in the United States.
Maybe if you on air fail that kind of an IQ test that Tucker Carlson, maybe those guys were right back in the 30s. Maybe all those people in that montage, maybe they need to be not able to reproduce, because when you look at their mental acuity, it might be a burden on the rest of the human race for there to be more of that. Now, that's said tongue-in-cheek, fact checkers. Folks, we're about ready to bring this in for a landing, but I do want to show you one other thing. And this came to me because I get email blast from Dave Shane, I'm not sure how to say it, Awake Canada. Guys, I'm not picking on Canada. I'm trying to wake people up in America to realize we need to really worry about Canada and worry about New Zealand, worry about Australia, because if our allies fall, man, we're in bad shape. But let me play this and let's just see if this creeps you out.
Look at a creepy Canadian website.
And I'm sorry the audio is low.
Government du Canada, exploring biodigital convergence. What happens when biology and digital technology merge? Let's just read part of the foreword. In the coming years, biodigital technologies could be woven into our lives in a way that digital technologies are now. Biological and digital systems are converging and could change the way we work, live, and even evolve as a species. More than a technological change, this biodigital convergence may transform the way we understand ourselves and cause us to redefine what we consider human or natural. It may have profound impact on our economy, our ecosystems, our society, being prepared to support it while managing its risks with care and sensitivity will shape the way we navigate social and ethical considerations. We want to engage with a broad spectrum of partners and stakeholders. There's Klaus Schwab speaking right there. And we're just going to
almost done
up with this. 3 ways biodigital convergence is emerging: full physical integration of biological and digital entities, coevolution of biological and digital technologies, conceptual convergence of biological and digital systems, and biological convergence. Biodigital convergence is opening up striking new ways to change human beings, our bodies, our minds, and our behaviors.
Y'all, I really apologize about the audio. I didn't realize that was so faint. And when it's faint, I don't want to say anything because sometimes I turn it up. And then anyway, you Canadian folks, man, that is a government website talking about biodigital convergence that can change human beings and change behavior. And it talks about, we must accept this technology and then guide it and guard it. Folks, that is really, really, really creepy. And so, I wonder sometimes if, it's all about the numbers, all about the numbers, all about the numbers. You got to get this V rate so high. Is that because once you get it so high, you can control everybody? Now, I wanted to show you this because this made me remember. I saw this a few weeks back. Bill Gates backed startup releases millions of genetically modified mosquitoes. And folks, this did happen. Okay. And there's a Snopes article that debunks it. So it really happened. And when you read the debunk, they'll try to say Bill Gates didn't personally. Yeah, he didn't personally say, okay, little buddy, you go. No, it was a Bill Gates backed startup releasing genetically modified mosquitoes under the guise of hopefully being able to counter out Zika virus and whatnot. So today we have talked about, well, the good news was with those tomato soup. That was awesome. We've talked about Ashli Babbitt. I think some truth is going to eventually come out about that. Our Health and Human Services and everybody else related to that is creepy, creepy, creepy. They're just as creepy as the creepy porn lawyer. And listen, you guys in Canada, that creepy website, I'm sure I'm going to be able to find something just as creepy from here in the U.S. So folks, that's what I got for today. I will go everybody's comments. Please please share, please subscribe, please share this video, please share this video. We have to fight against the censorship each and every day. If you can support us, please go to the website, ohioforfreedom.com, chip in a little something. It helps us and we certainly appreciate it. And I'm going to go through everybody's comments off air. And until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the state of Ohio, and God bless the United States of America, which is standing strong for the rest of the world.
I hear the sweet